We do have something we also disagreed with was this woman cop video.
Yes, let's talk about it. And do you have the other one? The other one that I sent? We got to talk about that too. It's hot right now.
No, I don't.
It's I'll send it to you.
I have it somewhere.
Okay, well,
this one's short, so I'll pull it up.
Okay.
Now that other one was long though, so if you could find some timestamps,
I got you.
Help out. All right, let's do this, and then I got a segment, and then we'll do that one after.
I bet.
All right. So these, I guess we'll debate on whether or not this was justified, because I think you're saying the cops were justified.
I think it was 100% justified.
100%.
100%.
All right. I'm not 100%, but I'm going to say it's not justified.
Do you want to set it up, or do you want to just play it?
What do you think? It's your clip.
Okay, let me set it up.
Go ahead.
All right, so what we're about to play is a
debate now.
I'm not gonna play the debate. What we're about to play is the police got a call that there was a burglary. One of the neighbors in this complex called and said that they'd seen two people break the window and go into the house. So when the police arrived, they announced themselves at the stairs where you see them. They knocked on the door several times, announced themselves as the police, and then we have what happened next, which was a shooting.
All right. Good setup.
Sheriff's office!
The time, just after 2 a.m. last Saturday morning, deputies called to the report of a burglary at the second-story apartment off Uvalde Road in Northeast Harris County. They're on high alert after seeing a broken front window. Officers unloading more than 24 rounds through the front of the apartment. One deputy reloading her gun and continuing to shoot.
Go down, go down. Go down.
A woman on the other side of the wall, identified as Ebony Pouncey, shot several times.
Charles Club, we need people, shots fired.
Deputies only then finding Ebony is supposed to be here. Her friend rents this place. They broke their own window to get in after forgetting their keys, the friend said in an interview on Friday.
I told Ebony to break the window. That would have been the third time the window would have been broken since I stayed here. We were there for about 20 minutes. The next thing I know, I hear loud banging on the door.
That banging is deputies.
Ebony grabbed her gun and ran to the door.
The next time she saw her friend, she was shot several times. A neighbor downstairs filming this video.
I live here. Please don't shoot. This is my home.
That same neighbor initially calling 911 to report a burglary after hearing his neighbor break her own window.
The only crime that was committed that day was done by the police. It was unjust, it was inhumane, and it was not okay.
The two deputies that you see in the video.
All right, is there any pertinent information there?
No, I think we can stop it there. So you know what's really pertinent?
I think you're kind of fucking crazy for thinking this is justified.
Let me explain. So what's really pertinent is that at no point did the news say that this person walked to the door with a gun. If you put yourself in the mind of police officers, you are pinned in sort of a fucked up area. You're in front of a window. You can't really see beyond it because there's blinds, but you know there's a broken window. You got to call there's a break-in. And, you know, with break-ins, most people break in with weapons. So if you announce yourself, because she said she heard it. She heard the banging. The neighbors heard that the police were outside because they were saying it's the police. Mm-hmm. They announced themselves several times, knocked on the window, backed up, and saw a figure approaching with a gun.
Mm-hmm. At
that point, they feared for their safety and they unloaded. It's unfortunate. I'm not glad that it happened, but if you hear that it's the police, you don't go to the door, because even tactically it doesn't make sense. If you think somebody's trying to break into your house, or if you don't know it's the police, you think it's just some rando, you are supposed to take a position somewhere where you're aiming at the door, right? Mm. And then figure out, kind of ascertain what's going on. If you go to the door with a gun, what do you expect to do? Or you think you're John Woo or something? You think you're just going to whip it out and start shooting? There's no reason for that. So I feel like you kind of brought it on yourself. They were justified in taking that action.
I don't think so, because it's her house. You know what I mean? Like, for instance, I don't know if was there any. I sometimes miss shit in the video. Did they announce they were police?
Yes, they announced it, and
the video you can hear it?
Cut that out too. I sent you the wrong clip. I should have sent you the fucking body cam. But
okay.
But in the body cam, they're literally knocking on the door, announcing the city. We're police, knocking on the door. Police,
I'll take your word for it.
Announce yourself. And that's when they backed up.
Here's my argument. No, it's probably predictable. Women cops. I think that was a very trigger happy moment. I think they were in a very bad position, and I think that's their fault. For putting themselves in a bad position.
What other position could they have been in on the second story?
What do you mean? Well, here's the thing. I think when it comes to like announcing police, women's voices don't carry the same way men's voices do. So if they were to say I didn't hear them, I could maybe believe that.
I would be with you if not for two things. One, the neighbor said they heard the police was outside. They said that they heard police. Two, the window's open. So there's no barrier. Usually there's a barrier of sound. But if the window's open, you can hear everything outside. Anytime I put my sliding glass window open, I hear everything.
I find it hard to believe that somebody knowingly with the police. I mean, I guess that's not a good argument because people will do that. But that knowingly the police are there and you're going to run to the door with a gun coming at them, I feel like there may have been a little bit more time to make a decision. Now that could be armchair quarterbacking.
Okay, so let's think about it. That second that you take to think, should I not shoot or not? Is she gonna come out this door with this gun after I announce that I'm the police?
Well, is it illegal to walk around your own house with a gun?
It's not, but it's not legal to approach a police officer with a gun drawn.
In your own house, maybe.
Listen,
if a police officer comes to my house and I'm walking around my house with a gun and I happen to answer the door with a gun, they're not allowed to just shoot me.
You're correct. You would have to point it at them. What I'm saying is they didn't know that. They got a call that it was a burglary. They had no way of knowing that the residents was still in that house, because normally if it's a burglary, then the residents aren't there. So if you're thinking that there's a burglary in here and there's now a burglar coming to the door with a gun, you're probably going to shoot. Did they shoot too many times? Yeah, I think so. She didn't have to reload. but the shooting itself, I don't see a problem with it.
Well, can you shoot? It's like almost like the Breonna Taylor discussion we had, or debate we were having. Like, can a cop shoot through a door?
It's irresponsible because you should see what's behind the door. You should always see your target.
Well, she's seeing through a window, so she can see the gun.
She saw the gun. That's why she shot. You could hear it. She said, "Gun, gun, gun," and then she started shooting.
Yeah, but again, how does she know who she's looking at? What if it's the owner? And I'm just saying, I don't know what police have to think about, right?
I got you.
What if it is the owner that got home and saw his window broken, so he pulled out his gun and cleared his house?
That's fair, but I'm always gonna hinge on the announcement. I just find it hard to believe that you didn't hear it was the police. That's all I'm saying. If your window's open, there's no reason you shouldn't have heard the police. And the police knock different. Like, it's that different type of knock.
I think there's a little bit of time that you have to give, even though it's dangerous, that if you're going into somebody's in a house, you don't know who it is. Like, it could be the owner.
And also,
that's always a possibility. Like, if police go in to clear the house of burglars, they can't just shoot anybody because it could be somebody who lives there.
Somebody who lives there.
I think that's not something that went through their head. They just thought right away, gun. That means I could shoot.
For my life.
I don't think you can do that as the police. Shoot through a barrier, of somebody's home.
They were shooting through the window.
Yeah, but of somebody's home, and that's their home.
Again, they had no way of knowing that.
I'm not saying the police were malicious.
I know.
I think they were they thought it was a burglar, but I think there's more to it that police have to think about.
And their position was bad as well. I mean, I think that plays a factor. They didn't really have a choice because you didn't have anywhere to go. It's stairs. You got to go up the stairs and you're there. You're just in front of the window and the door. There's nowhere to go.
Same circumstance, right?
Okay.
But the woman busts out the door. Like, busts open the door and comes, then you shoot, sure. But
through the window, seeing a gun approaching.
I just don't think police are allowed to do that. Like, I don't even think you that's not. I don't know if there's a clear self-defense case as far as the cops. And that's just maybe because it's the woman's house, and I'm not thinking what were they thinking. But I don't think that was necessary.
Listen, if a surefire way for you to get shot is just to approach a cop with a gun. They were on the scene for something they believe was a violent crime, and they saw somebody with a gun approaching. I don't think it was a good thing, but I can't say it wasn't justified.
How sure do they have to be that there's a crime being committed? And again, everybody needs to understand. My argument is that they shot into somebody's house.
Yes.
That's the only thing. If this was on the street, whole different argument.
They only have the call to go on until they get there. So they get the call. It's a burglary. They go up the stairs. They see broken window. They see the window pane over here. Okay, it looks like somebody broke into this house. They knock, couple of minutes, somebody approaches the door with a gun in their hand. It lines up too much for them to be heightened. They're already heightened.
But
right?
You're telling me you're shooting into somebody's house. There's no drop the gun. There's no like lawful order to do it. Like nothing there.
That is a good point.
Right to shooting.
Because they never said that. They just said gun, and started shooting.
Right. That's all I'm saying. Is I think there was a little window of opportunity where they could have assessed the situation a little bit better.
That's fair.
And I think
I
if
can't
they
even
were-
argue that.
If they were capable men, that wouldn't have happened.
Because if they were dudes.
Little trigger.
Oh, man.
You know, I heard there's a thing that women cops actually use a gun that has like less pounds. What is it? PSI on the trigger.
I don't know how true that is.
It's a lighter trigger.
One of my friends is a cop. Shout out to her. It's her birthday. I gotta call her later. She has standard issue Glock.
Or I heard they changed the standard issue
for everybody.
So it's like lighter triggers for women. Maybe that's different states though, different cities. I don't know.
Most women have an issue racking it, so I could see them doing something like that.
Yeah.
And like anytime I see a woman cop shooting, they always get a jam and they can't fix
pull it back.
They can't pull it back, so.
It's like a panicky thing too. Get them Smith and Wessons. Those fucking things rack like.
Nah. All lady cops should have revolvers.
Yeah, start where we started.
No. I mean, they're just surefire thing. They never fail.
Are they? Well, I guess it's like the hammer.
Yeah, the hammer.
They'd have a problem with that.
Yeah. Fair. All right.